Welcome back to episode 29 of the Grit Code Podcast, a place where we decode the steps to success on and off the field. I'm 11-year NFL veteran, three-time Pro Bowler Donte Whitner, alongside number 378 NFL Hall of Famer and 49ers legend Patrick Willis.
What's happening? What's
Yes,
happening?
sir.
Man, I am super excited this week on the Grit Code podcast because we have not just anybody, we have my brother from another mother, the one and only NaVorro, the Silverback Bowman,
Yes, sir.
one of the most feared linebackers of his era, a man who didn't just play the game, he imposed his will on it. From District Heights, Maryland, to becoming a four-time first-team All-Pro, he built his name through discipline, pain, and relentless effort. He was an eccentric part of one of the most dominant defenses in NFL history and the definition of what grit really looks like. Again, welcome to the show, my brother NaVorro Bowman. What's happening, Bo?
What's up, man? Appreciate y'all having me today on the grit
Man,
on the grit code. Who came up with that name? How you get that name? What y'all come up with that?
Shit, we all been through something.
The
If you
grit
don't have
code.
grit, shit, they gonna crush your ass, Bo.
Hey,
You
keep
know
the
that.
grit. You
Hey,
got to keep
listen.
the grit.
Man.
Got
You
to.
got to keep it, and that's how you develop, and that's how you win. And if you don't have it, you really don't have a chance.
No
So now
question.
we want to get right into it. This first segment, Bo, is called "From the Mud" because we
Okay.
all have a mud story, right?
Yes,
And coming
sir.
from District Heights, how did that environment shape you, brother? How did it shape you? Like, what did you take from that and implement into your game?
Well, just being from District Heights, Maryland, it's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that can, take you away from your goal, and get you to going down the wrong path. So, I had great parents, man, that, exemplified what hard work was, just showing, them waking up every single day and going to work and then coming home and doing another job. I mean, my father was a mechanic, after his 9 to 5, and everybody in the community loved him. Just seeing my mom wake up at 4 in the morning every day and go to work to Wendy's, I just wanted to, see if I can change, the way that we were living at the time. I wanted more. And just being in the neighborhood, being bigger than my older brother, I used to go outside and play with the older kids. I mean, I think I was probably 12. They were probably like 16, 17 years old. And, I wasn't going down easy. I'm tackling them. I'm running. I'm having fun. And they came out with a nickname called, they called me Little Booger. Because I'm just a 12-year-old kid. I ain't care what I had on, what I looked like, snot running down my nose. But I'm playing hard. I'm competing against the 17-year-olds and just seeing those guys who were on varsity at the time in high school, they gave me the want to, man. Guy named Debo, guy named Marcel, guy named Tyree. Like, I never forget those names because those are the first guys that kind of showed me, how you had to play the game of football.
So you were talking about the boys in the neighborhood, the people that influenced you. I had those
Yeah.
same type of influences, but a lot of times, even early on, I was led down the wrong path. And I told this story in a previous podcast segment, episode about almost having attempted murder charges because I followed the wrong people from basketball practice and somebody beat up on a kid and almost
Mhm.
killed him being a
Yeah.
follower. Did you have any of those type of scenarios or situations growing up where you was like, ah, shit, I almost made the wrong decision, but by the grace of God, I was able to get out of it?
I mean, I had a lot of them, honestly, and you know, two of them that stand out particularly to me. I remember them. I think about them. I use them on my son. To this day. Um, one was, I had high school practice, and something came over me, and I was like, man, like I don't want to go to practice. And then some said, man, they're gonna be right here when you go to practice. Like you're gonna go to practice and they're gonna be right here in the same spot. I said, man, let me just go to practice. So I went to practice hard, walked back from practice with my equipment in hand, and saw those same dudes standing on that corner doing the same thing before I left. And it just showed me like I can go chase my dream. I ain't gonna miss nothing. These dudes really ain't doing anything that's positive or that's gonna move them forward in life. So let me focus on my goal. So that was one.
So hold on. That's like a God moment
Yeah,
because there's like that doesn't really happen to everyone. Because there are guys that I played with at Glenville. You know where we come from. Ted Ginn Jr.,
yeah,
Troy Smith from the inner city of Cleveland. There
yeah.
was many moments that I had like that, and there was no adult that was telling me that. What do you really think that was, Bo? In that moment, what do you think that was?
Well, I mean, like I said, I had two, strict parents, and they couldn't keep you away from all of it, right? But they taught you, they talked to you, and when you see the things happening hand to hand, and seeing how people become after they take what's hand to hand, delivered or given to them, you just start to put compartmentalize things and put yourself outside of the box, right? And just tell yourself you want better. I lost a lot of friends to gun violence, a lot of friends to stupidity, and I don't know. I just think it was sports, man. I love playing basketball. Football became my dream, and what I became great at. But it was just sports, dog. Like if you was playing any type of basketball or football, like that's when you'll catch. That's where you'll catch me. I wouldn't leave that place. That was the safe haven, back in the day where you could just go to the park, go to the courts, go to the field, and most of the time nothing violent or anything like that will happen. So, that's where I stayed at, man, and just had the examples of what not to do. And not to say I didn't learn anything from those guys, right? But, I had a bigger vision for myself, and God blessed me with talent to play sports. So I was able to travel around the world and see different things and see that I wanted a better life.
NaVorro, you remember, and I remember this vividly, man. This was 2011, first year that we roomed together. So you came to the Niners in 2010. That's where NaVorro and I met at the 49ers, where we ultimately became, with teammates, ended up playing together. But we drafted you in 2010, and I won't lie, when we drafted you in 2010, I was still just trying to, I say still trying to understand the game myself, but I had Tequio, and Tequio was like a big brother to me or whatnot. And so all I really, off season, you go hang out with him, you go work out with him. And just remember 2011, going into the 2011 year, it was like, that was a lockout season as well.
Yeah.
And so, but I remember that spring free agency and all that stuff. I was disappointed because I was like, man, they letting Tequio go. Like, man, that's my dog. Like, I gotta get him to I gotta get him to a playoff
Yeah.
game. I gotta get him to a playoff game, man. That's my dog. But then I won't lie, I was a little bit hurt and whatnot. But I'll never forget, man, in 2011 training camp. And it was after our first meeting we had, and I remember coming back to the dorm. I was, in there. I was seeing everybody taking me, and I'm kind of trying to assess because I'm like, man, is he gonna take this serious, man? Because this shit means the world to me, man. My dog ain't here much no more. Like, how's it gonna be?
Yeah.
And I remember like it was yesterday, but remember I came into
In the hotel room.
in the hotel room
Yeah.
because we was rooming together. And Bo was already in there in his playbook or whatnot. And I was just curious because usually, like guys young, they want to go get on the games.
Yeah.
They want to go hang out, until curfew time.
Yeah.
And I remember I came in and you was locked in or whatnot. And I remember being like, man, let me get to know a little bit more about him. And I remember I asked you some questions. And when we finished talking, you remember, man, when you was telling me, you said, Pat, in order for us to go to school sometime, man, I had to go around the long ways because if I knew I went down this way, it was going to be something bad.
Yeah.
And the way you was talking, and I was like, man, that's how it'd be when I went to school. I had to walk around this way because these dogs would be bad right here. And you was like, what do you mean you running? He was like, you running from dogs? I'm like, yeah, man, that was how I ran from the dogs to try to get away from the dogs so I didn't have to fight them or do any of that crazy stuff. Was how you would talk about how you had to try to avoid, running into certain things. And I remember saying to myself, like, and it was more to it because you went into depth about, you're growing up. And I remember saying right then and there, I said, man, I haven't really got a chance to see him play. But man, the heart that he has and everything he had to come through to get to where he is,
Yeah.
I said, man, I think we're gonna be all right. I said, we lock in, man. I think we're gonna be all right. And then next thing you know, man, it was almost like at times I was looking in the mirror at myself or whatnot at the way and how you played the game and how much, I admired the way that you play. And so again, I say all that to say, man, like it was I had to share that and I had to share that to say where you come from, man. And to be where you were that night, I knew you was gonna be something special, man. So I had to get that out of the way. So
Nah, I
And by the way,
appreciate
Pat been waiting all goddamn day to say that. He was waiting
that.
because, he just had to get that off his heart 100%.
Man, we got tons of moments and stories. But like when you walked in that room, Pat, like you don't understand, man. Like it was so hard to get there, and coming from Penn State, dog, like, being a black linebacker at the time, man, like it was so hard to get on the field, right? And my intelligence of the game and being from where I'm from and knowing and being coached the way I was coached, like all that stuff came into play to help me get through Penn State, because when they say, "Oh, you smart," right? You got to read between those lines, right? So, of course I'm smart. I wouldn't be here, right? So, when I figured out the kind of approach that I had to go at, to get through Penn State, um, but still trying to let go that baggage of my neighborhood and where I come from and trying to adjust, right? Flip it and try to play both sides just to break through this element of life, when it comes to people coming from where I come from. So when you saw me in that hotel room, dog, like it wasn't just to show you, dog, it was like to show everybody, in the world. That just doubt people that come from less situations, right? Because you can talk about a person and their situations and what they go through, but you don't know the feel, right? The feel that is putting inside of that person. You know what I'm saying?
And
Um,
absolutely, that leads into our second segment, Bo, and I'm glad you guys brought this up. It's called Play the Game to win the
yeah,
game. So
yeah,
you're talking about this is something that's a double entendre. And this
yeah,
is what we've been taught to come when we come from the inner city and where you come from, Pat, you have to
mhm.
play the game on the field, but you also have to play the game being African American off the field. Which
yeah,
means what? You have to show up to class on time. You have to
hundred
put in
percent.
maximum effort. You have to go to study table. You have to show up to practice on time. You have to give full effort. You have to actually break it down fundamentally to actually teach yourself the defense because where we come from, a lot of that shit in high school is basic.
Yep,
You don't have the
Mhm.
yep,
intricacies within the defense. You
Mhm.
gotta
yep,
play the game. You gotta teach yourself. All right, when it
yep,
comes to communicating with people and handling your emotions, guess
yep.
what? You have to play the game. You can't react like a kid that comes from the inner city with childhood trauma. You
I
have
tell
to
you, I tell
adapt
Mhm.
you,
and relate.
I tell you even further because I'm retired now. I don't care. I can
Absolutely. You
tell
gotta
you
tell it.
the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I never got a chance to like talk about this stuff, right? So at Penn State, right, you couldn't have facial hair, So when you say like learn how to play the game, bro, like I didn't wear no neck roll where I'm from. I wore a neck roll because every linebacker that wasn't my color wore a neck roll, and they were on the field. They were getting smiled at. They were getting talked to every single day, right? The guys that didn't have a neck roll, who was my color, they had the hardest times to get on the field, right? So no facial hair. Why we can't have facial hair, right?
Absolutely.
So
How you walk around looking like a rapist, bro?
to get into that hotel room, Pat, I cut all my facial hair, right? I wore a neck roll, Pat, to get into that hotel room. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So
I remember.
all that, man, like all that stuff been on my shoulders, man, for my whole life, man. And so getting to that, when you saw me in that hotel room, dog, it was no question. I wasn't going no game. I wasn't playing no game. I was playing that. I was going to get that book, right? And I was trying to learn that book as fast as I could, right? So I can play as fast as I can. You
And
know
guess
what I'm saying?
what, Bo? I
Man.
went through the same scenario at Ohio State. I went there at 16 and a half. I had to adapt. Coming from
Yeah,
an all-black community of Glenville, where we had one white person in our high school, to being planted on Ohio State's campus where it's diverse and you really can't even speak their language and don't know their culture.
yeah.
And
Don't
I
even know
had to
about
figure
protein.
it out. You understand? Where you had
Yeah,
even guys on my team that said, "Hey, I'm gonna pick you up for 6 a.m. workouts, and then you leave me out there till 7:30, motherfucker." You
yeah,
understand? You have to adapt because you know that I'm coming here to take your job. So you
yeah,
do me like that. Okay, so I'll
yeah.
deal with that. That's one day, but you got to deal with me for 3 years, motherfucker. So
100%.
I dealt with the same thing. Even I dealt with the guys from Glenville who I have the utmost respect for and the most love for. When I got to Ohio State campus, I wasn't playing no games. I'm not going out to party. I'm not hanging out. I'm not smoking weed. I don't give a fuck about fucking bitches. Guess what? I'm going top 10. And if
Yeah,
you can't understand that and you think I don't I dislike you because of that, then so the
yeah,
fuck be it. But guess
yeah,
what? I hit that goal at the end of the day. Hey, Coach
yeah,
Tress, you want me at study table at 6 a.m.? Motherfucker, I'm there. You want me
yeah.
at workouts at 5 a.m.? Motherfucker, I'm there. You want me to
And I'm
cut my facial
first.
hair? Motherfucker, I'm there. I'm going to make 50 million.
Yeah,
And I don't care about adaptability and I don't care about feelings. That's how I
yeah,
felt when I got to Ohio State campus. And you can hear Jim Tressel talk to this day. At 17 years old, Coach, I don't want to play no games. I want to figure out how to go top 10. And can
yeah,
you help me? That's
yeah,
all I cared about. I don't care about the hood and looking good.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
100%, bro. 100%.
So Bo, so when I remember you talked about it a little bit. So how was it playing linebacker at what some arguably say is linebacker you? I know let Bo say it, he says linebacker you, but how was it playing that? Because I played in the SEC, which I think is the best conference in the world, but I also played at Ole Miss, and a lot of people may think that my journey to becoming what I became at Ole Miss was easy, but I was kind of like you guys. My freshman year, I was told I was going to play, and I only played on special teams. Then my sophomore year, I come back and I'm more productive than the guys who are starting, but they're older and they're just older guys, and the coach is supposed is more of a seniority guy. And then all of a sudden he gets fired, and Orgeron comes in, and and that whole shabaku. But how was it playing linebacker at Penn State?
Well, I mean,
Like,
I learned how to play the position technique wise. I'll say that. Like my coach, Ron Vanderlinden, he was very detailed, right? But he wasn't very personable, right? Didn't have a good personality, would kind of make you feel belittled. And then you had Joe Paterno, who was this legend of a guy.
oh
And
man.
but he wasn't really running anything when it came to football, right? So you had all these different elements of coaches where some had more pull than what their title was, right? Even people that wasn't coaches had pull in certain things. So it was really a tight ship for us. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so to play linebacker, you had to do everything right every single day, and you had to play like a Sean Lee, a Dan Connor, a Paul Lesney, a Tim Shaw. You had to play like those guys to get on the field. You
Mhm.
couldn't bring your style, right? So once I got the neck roll right, the mustache right, and beat them in every single sprint pack, you had to put me on the field, right? So
I love it.
once Sean Lee got hurt, I moved to the strength of the field, making all the plays, balling, but that's not what he wanted. So when Sean got healthy, he wanted to move me back to the weak side. That's when you saw me come out. No, right? We're gonna keep me where I am, and you can move Sean in the middle, right, to get him closer. But you got to figure this out, Coach. I'm making 10 tackles, 15 tackles a game, and now that Sean comes back, you're trying to put me back to the weak side. I started at the weak side. I understand exactly what's happening over there. Nothing. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So
Bo, I got a
um,
question for you. Who's
yeah,
the best linebacker to ever come out of Penn State?
you looking at him.
Who's the best linebacker to ever come out of Penn State, Bo?
You're looking at him.
God damn, they got his name up in the Raptors now.
Listen,
Yeah.
every time you think about linebacker, you think about NaVorro Bowman.
That's what we like.
Like
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Where the hell is
Yes.
Sean Lee? What did his career pan out to?
that's
Pretty much
all.
nothing. I'm gonna say it, Bo. Nothing.
Ask Jerry Jones what he told me in the Gaylord Hotel. He said if I'm sitting there, he's going to draft me. Do you know how much of a slap of the face it was for him to take Sean Lee over me?
That's
Over
fucked up.
me? Like
Dang.
so I know it came down to what, y'all?
We know what it is,
Mm.
skin color.
Come on, man.
1000% it came down to it.
Mm.
You can't take the guy that's playing right next to me. You seen what you saw every play that I made. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So,
So
Bo, at Penn
hey,
State, all right, you go out, you ball out, you outperform those guys,
yeah.
and then you become a third round draft pick. How many linebackers did you see go in front of you on draft day? And what were you sitting there telling yourself?
Well, I kind of put myself in that situation. You know, they used to take that off the field stuff really serious, right? So I got into a little fight, and I didn't have Joe Paterno pushing me, you know, trying to get guys to look past the fight, right? I had Joe Paterno trying to keep me in school, right? Because I had another year, right? So he was telling me, "You're not going to go early. You're not going to go early," right? So I bet on myself, y'all. Like I didn't listen to the coach. My agent said you have value for first and second round, but it's no promise, right? But I bet it on myself. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that's all you can do, man. Like when you get in these
Absolutely, and
rooms,
you're going to win. Guess what? Luke
yeah,
Fickell did the same thing to me coming out of Ohio State.
yeah,
When I told those people that I'm thinking about declaring as a junior, Luke Fickell, who's the head coach of Wisconsin now, he
yeah.
was our
He
defensive
recruited me.
line coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
he told me, Whitner, they're saying you're going to be a late second rounder, early third. If you come back, we'll push you for the Thorpe. We think that it's just beneficial for you to come back. I'm
Yeah.
thinking in my head, do you know I run 4.3, motherfucker? Do you know that I'm about to have a 40 motherfucking inch vertical and
yeah.
11-inch broad jump? First of
Yeah.
all, you don't even coach me or know me.
Yeah.
How the fuck you gonna tell me? And then
Yeah.
on draft day, the number 8 pick, Donte Whitner. How
Yeah.
wrong was that motherfucker?
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know, man. They don't know. So you got to maintain who you are. You know, thank you, but I'm gonna still, you know, be me, right?
But shit, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I hate that. I hate that you didn't go where you had wanted to, but man, I'm so glad you landed. You landed where you did.
Hey, and the thing about that, like Singletary, man, like
Oh man.
I respect this man, you know, because he wrote down on that paper leader, right? When I walked in that room for the interview, right? And he told me this, right? After the interview, he said, I ain't, the first word I wrote down was leader on this paper. So I knew that they were going to see me for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I made it. Like it's just a weight lifted off my shoulders. I mean, I came from Suitland High School. I get drafted to San Francisco, the colors of red and black. My high school red and black. I always wanted to live in California. Get drafted to a California team. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like everything just helped me. Like I made it through the worst, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
And so you
like,
weren't about to take anything for granted, which
nah,
is what this segment is based on, and it's called The Arrival. Third
yeah.
round draft pick, Mike Singletary. They give you an opportunity, everything you ever dreamed of. What was your mindset after stepping into that building, Bo?
Well, one, can I play at this level, right? Because when like it's grown men, you know, and I'm looking at guys like Moran Norris, right? He 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 plays fullback. I know I'm gonna have to go against him, right? So can I play in this league? I go back to what I've been told. Can nobody fuck with you? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
that doubt you got to fight through on every
you
level.
got you gotta fight through it, right? You gotta turn yourself up. Ain't nobody else right there to turn you up. You know what I'm saying? So Pat, I'm saying Pat, I'm like, ain't no way I'm about to look like I don't belong. You know what I'm saying? Like I will die on this field before I look like I don't belong. You know what I'm saying? And I got OGs back around the way that test you. Like, man, you scared. You ain't ready for the NFL. I had this stuff said to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm from a place where they ain't gonna pat you on the back, right? They
No,
gonna keep
Cleveland either.
they gonna keep testing you, right? So I'm used to all the tests, right? So
Yeah, you can't tackle Marshawn Lynch.
you know what I'm saying? Like you too small.
Yeah,
Like you too slow. You too
dummy.
small. Like
Hey,
I heard it all,
Bo,
man. Yeah.
Bo, do you remember? Our first meeting our first linebacker meeting, and Coach Levitt came in. And he said what he said to
He
us.
said, I don't know. he said, he said, listen, guys, I don't know it all. Okay. But I tell you one thing, I'm gonna go find out.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go find out.
He said he gonna find it. Hey, he said, hey, that's when I knew. Like I said, man, he gonna be all right. But
Yeah.
what at the very first though? Do you remember what he said at the very very first?
Nah, what he say?
Remember he said, I always ran a 4.3. I always ran a 4.3. That's where I ran the USF, and I knew it very well. But here, you run the 3.4. He said, but I just always, he's like, I just always thought the inside linebackers should be about. And I thought they should have big legs,
Yeah.
big asses, weigh about 250, 255. And bro, I'm listening to him as he's saying this.
Yeah.
And as soon as he finished saying it, I remember I look at him and I say, Coach, with all due respect, I never weighed that much, and I've gotten the job done. And I remember I walked out of the room, but I walked out and I got some water. I wanted to make it look like what I'm saying. Like, but I say I didn't walk out right after that. It was then he said. So he said all of that, and I said that part, but then he did come back and say at the very end, he said, "And listen, if we want to be good, we got to leave our egos at the door.
Yeah.
And if I don't know something," he said, "I'm gonna make sure that I go find out before we get on that field." And man, Coach Levy was man, he was a hell of a coach, man. I mean, I ain't gonna say he had to do. I ain't gonna say he had to. He didn't kill us. He
Nah,
didn't kill us. He let us be, man.
nah, he was the best one out of all of them.
Yeah.
He was the best one. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But Bo, after your arrival in San Francisco, and this is part of the arrival, Vic
Yeah.
Fangio comes into play.
Yeah.
And then initially you had to compete for the job. You won out, and then it was
Yeah.
gone.
I
I
mean,
remember the
shit.
game against the Philadelphia Eagles when you first burst on the scene. I
Well,
was hurt. I was
Tay,
on the
let
sideline, and your ass was running around tackling Michael Vick and LaShawn McCoy, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this linebacker?"
yeah. Well, let me go back to when I got that starting job, right? Because Takeo, man, like hats off to him. Like, he was the start of this thing, man. Like he showed me and Pat, how to be pros, right? And how to have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
TK,
yeah, man. Like
Like,
I
dog.
ain't never met a linebacker that had so much fun with this game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
And his energy, his personality, right? And just to show like, man, you gonna give me the information, right? But it's up to you to take the information. You know what I'm saying? And when I started taking the information, it's only right for you as a football player to kind of feel like, damn, like this motherfucker, he really want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So I
Mhm.
can feel me and his relationship kind of, start to separate a little bit, but I'm always, I'm here. What's up, TK? So much respect to TK, man. He hurt I think his hand that game, or Pat hurt. Who hurt his hand? Who?
We both did. I
Yeah,
think we might have both hurt our hands that game.
both of them hurt their hand, and I got to start against the Falcons, man, in Candlestick. And Tay, when I say, man, I was out for blood. You understand
Oh,
me?
I know what you mean.
Like I wanted to tackle. I wanted to make every tackle, dog, just to show Greg Minuski, Mike Singletary. You know what I'm saying? Like that I can play this game, right? So I ended with 18 tackles.
And that was
You
it.
know, that was it, right? So
And that was
I
it. And
was,
then guess what? That's when the student takes over
yeah,
for the teacher. And a lot
yeah,
of times, Takeo and guys like Takeo get overlooked because they are so willing to give you the information, knowing that there's a possibility that you can take their job.
of course,
Have you ever
of
sat
course.
next to a veteran that was stingy with the information? I have.
Hell
Early
yeah,
in my career, I sat next to a lot of veterans that
yeah,
were stingy with the information because they want you to fail. And that just tells a lot about Takeo.
yeah,
Giving
yeah,
you the information, showing you the way, showing you how to be a pro so that you can have success and
yeah,
maybe overtake me, maybe take my
yeah.
job. So
Maybe,
shout
You
out
know,
to TK.
yeah,
since we on this topic right now, man, this is like this kind of touchy. So what TKO was for me when I going into my second year is actually what actually helped mold me to try to be what I hope I was to you, NaVorro.
yeah,
And what I'm about to say is like a lot of people don't realize, like, boy, we and I talk all the time, like every day. You would always sometimes you been in the training room or you just getting your feet taped up, but I'm always in there working on my feet.
yeah,
And I would look at you sometime, I would be like, Bo, man, I don't know how much longer I have to
yeah,
play this game, man. And Bo would look at me and be like, man, P, your feet hurt now. He's like, man, you do always be talking about your feet. And I'm like, man,
yeah,
I tell you, Bo, I don't know how much longer I have to play. This was like a almost every other day conversation to the point where I was almost annoyed myself, but
yeah,
like it just kept coming out. Like I just kept, it was like me prophesying, like, listen, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all,
yeah,
I'm not gonna be playing this game for a long time, but I'm saying all that to say I always saw in you, they say good leaders identify their predecessors before they leave.
mm-hmm,
And I could tell, I could see it. I was like, man, this is gonna be Navarro's team to take over him and E. Reeves. I was like, because I don't have much in me to even to to compete and even stay there with you when I could feel it.
yeah.
And so I remember saying to myself, I was like, man, I
But me,
remember
it's sad
the
that you
Lions
were
game.
watching though.
What's
So
up?
that's where the hidden competition. I know me and Deshaun had a lot of secret competition out there. I know you
Oh,
motherfuckers had some
no,
secret
no,
competition.
it was it was
It's
it
like,
was it
who's
was
the
a con-
best linebacker on this team?
Yeah, no, it
For
wasn't even.
I didn't
2011,
I
2012,
didn't
that shit was there. Y'all can't tell me it wasn't.
Nah,
I didn't feel it.
it
Yeah.
wasn't there. Take this shit, nigga.
Oh, I
You.
know
Yeah.
you, and you was thinking that, and Pat, I
No,
know
no,
you
we, yeah,
too.
we, no, we compete because and I say we like if I want to play a good game, just as Navarro gonna play a good game, but I wasn't
I wanted to
competing
play better than
to get.
Deshaun.
Nah, see,
Nah,
I don't know. I know it felt.
I
I
wanted
know
him
it
to
felt
like
play
nice to me
great, but
personally.
I just wanted to play a little bit better.
I wanted to
Mm.
stop the run, and it took two to stop the run. So at the end of the day, you got my back, I got your back. You know what I'm saying? And
NaVorro,
we
you
got to
should have
do this
won
thing.
MVP in 2013.
Yeah,
If you would
Nambo,
have won the
I will
MVP,
agree.
you
Yeah,
wanted that MVP, Bo.
Yeah,
yeah. What?
but honestly, Tate, dog, to win this type of shit, you can't think about it, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta let the work just put the work in. Like you know what it should look like, right? And if it don't look right or feel right, then you go look at the stats, and that's gonna prove to you that it wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if I had 10 tackles every single game, I don't have to watch the film. I'm on to the next week. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not worried about that. I'm supposed to do that. That was my goal. 10 a game. You can ask my wife. If I had 7 or 8, I'm mad as fuck. There's no
Mhm.
way I can be on that field for 60 plays and not get the ball down or be involved 10 times. Something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that was, I don't know if it was Pat's, but like just playing the way that coach want me to play on the sideline. As long as I do that, I know I'm gonna be, be at the top ranks or whatever awards out there. You know what I'm saying? But
It was like
you
a
can't think about it. I never thought about that stuff. I want it, but I never thought about how to get it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It was like a. I would say it was a standard of play. It was a standard of excellence, and there were games when I'll never forget the 2012 bowl. Was it maybe it was the 13 season one? The game that Donte just spoke about, the Eagles game. I remember I saw you make an open field tackle against
Nervous
Michael
as
Vick,
hell. Nervous
and
as hell.
I said, holy shit! I said, man, did I just see what I thought I saw? I'm like, man, he just tackled Michael Vick
Man.
in this space like this right here, and that's when I said, man, he got good feet
Yeah.
or whatnot. And so I said all to say, and then we play Green Bay. Brand, do y'all remember how cold that Green Bay game? At least for me, that Green Bay game was so cold. I could have been in the
Yeah, I got
Snickers
ran
commercial. I'm
over.
like, man, that game was so cold. My hand
I
was
couldn't
cold. I'll
tap.
never forget. Shit, you man, bro, you the one that woke me up. I would always say to myself, I always said, man, we gotta come with it today. Like we gotta be there. You know, I can't be here, can't be there.
Yeah.
So we gotta be there.
Yeah.
Man, I saw you come down and smack this guard. And I looked and I saw you smack him and get off of him. I said,
Oh, he playing.
holy shit.
Yeah.
I said, I said, come on, Pat. I said, come on, Dad. Come on, we gotta get through this cold. My feet were hurting, my hands were hurting. I was like, no, my toes already effed up.
Hey, but
so man, after that series, I went to the sideline. I said, Steve, Doc, I need my gloves. I need my regular stuff on. I said, I got it. It's time to go.
yeah,
It's time to go. So, boy, I say all this say, man, you pushed me a lot of times, but I never felt like I was competing at you. I feel like I was competing in a way that was to the standard of the way that we needed to play, and it just fucking sucks that we didn't get that daggone Super Bowl, man, to solidify. But anyways, let me get back.
So then Vic Fangio comes in. Everything changes. Draft Aldon Smith, Justin Smith is there. You and Bo solidified inside. Me and Deshaun at the safeties. Then you got Terrell and Carlos Rogers outside.
Yeah.
What changed when Vic Fangio came in, and how much did he actually put on your shoulders?
What changed was he knew what the hell he was doing. And you know, when you got a coach that ain't too monstrous, like it took a lot to get Vic outside of his element. You know what I'm saying? So whether he was installing or calling the plays at practice, he was always even killed. So when you a guy like me that came from nothing and Pat, like you want to make sure that this guy that's even killed, that's known for winning and having good defenses, right? You want to play your ass off for a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? So the respect, right? The respect and the want to play the right way and you know, and them getting the right pieces in this thing, you know what I'm saying, on the outside so that the ball wouldn't get on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like having Alden and Ahmad and Isaac and Ray, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys did a hell of a job with allowing me and Pat to fly around. So you know, Vic came and put the machine together, man. He put us in the right places. I still talk to him to this day. Got a chance to see him on the coaching side as well, and he's still the same guy, man.
And you were always his favorite.
Yeah,
I remember hearing your name more than anybody's name out of Vic's mouth. NaVorro, right?
Yeah.
So going on and playing in that defense, Vic being the mastermind behind it. When did you know we were elite?
When he stuck to what he knew, right? He never tried to like trick a team. Like we'll play Robert and one rat fucking
Every play.
You know what I'm saying? Every play, right? So that's when like I'm like, oh, all right, he know who he got on the field, right? It's about kicking that man across from you ass, right? So like having that for 3 years, dog, like we did nothing but bond. We hung out together. Y'all know how I think you and Deshaun came all the way together in 2012, if you really want me to be honest, right? Because it was 2010, me and Pat figuring it out, right? 2012, now we get Donte, Deshaun playing together for an extra year. Now we got Alden, little young ass coming. You know what I'm saying? So like it happened. It was steps that just brought the right guys in. I mean, Harbaugh did a great job drafting. But like I just felt like we didn't even need a coach, honestly.
And I had
Like
to ask you something, NaVorro, that I remember that Pat doesn't remember.
Yeah.
You remember when you won team defensive MVP in 2013?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Alden got up and said, "I can't believe y'all gave this motherfucker my MVP," and ran up out of there?
Yeah.
Pat said that never happened. I'm like, dude, where the fuck
No,
were you?
I just don't remember. I blame it on football.
Man,
Nah, look,
no,
I
NaVorro
be having
Bowman.
some moments too, Pat. I ain't gonna lie to
I'm
you.
like, shit, I don't remember that one,
Listen,
but
nah, cause
and maybe I did. It just didn't. Maybe I was just
I don't
checked out
know.
by
I
that
don't
point or
know if he
something. I
was
don't know.
serious because
He was fucking serious.
Alden does play like that, right? But yeah, I remember that. But I mean, 2013, man, like shit, we had 7 MVPs. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just
Man.
it was different games, man. Different games.
That was the
Pat
year he
Lefty.
had 22 and a half sacks, and
Yeah,
NaVorro ran the pick and the stick back. Remember
yeah,
that, Pat?
I just got chills right
Oh, they
now. Just running
announced
through my
it. I'm
body. I was
telling you,
just
they announced it.
yeah,
And Harbaugh, like, the 2013 defensive MVP, NaVorro Bowman.
yeah, yeah.
Alden got up and went, "I can't believe you motherfuckers gave him my MVP." And walked up out of there, and it was like, you could hear a pin drop.
shit.
I'm telling you, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, something going on here, right? Which we
Yeah,
already
nah,
knew, but I'm like, oh, it's deeper than what we ever thought. But I remember that, and you deserve that year, NaVorro. And I think that this is the perfect time to go into your iconic plays,
yeah, appreciate you.
right? You had a bunch of them.
Big play Bowman.
Mm.
Absolutely. I think we should start with that strip fumble and versus the Giants in the NFC Championship. Bo, was that a fumble? That was a fucking fumble.
Man.
That play right there, bro. Like I timed it up so perfect that I know it was a fumble, right? But like I've been on the other side of this thing. You can't even control it, bro. Like I let stuff like that go now, man. Like when I went to the Raiders, bro, they pulled out a index card and put the index card in between the ball and the stick and said the ball touching the card and gave him a first down. Like
What?
I don't. Yeah, that was a fumble. That was a fumble. That should have been our second Super Bowl.
What about that
Man.
NFC moment? Fourth down, I remember the call. Safeties were helping out wide. You and Pat were one on one. You were with Roddy White. Pat was with Tony Gonzalez. What were you thinking pre snap, during the play, and then after the play?
Bo, can I say that real quick? Can I say that real quick? So so me and Bo always had this thing where, man, when we need to make a play, we always looking at each other and we like, man, like we gotta make a play. And Bo look at me like, Pat, one of us gotta make a play. And Bo eyes like this, hey, one of us gotta make a play. I'll never forget. I'm thinking to myself, man, we got that daggone Tony Gonzalez. I'm like, Pat, just stay in front of your man, but just stay in front of your man.
Yeah,
Man, I saw. Anyways, we, everything was happening real fast, and I think we were trying to get a call in or whatnot. And Vic gave the famous call, Max Zero Train, Max Zero Train, Max Zero Train, and then I can let you go from there, Bo.
yeah. Nah, it was. So to be honest, right? And I know y'all probably got into this element before. Like you ever not known what down it was.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
I didn't know that was fourth down, right? So I'm playing this play like it's third down, and you will see me hesitate a little bit when I knock the ball down because I didn't know it was fourth down, right? So I'm literally just concentrating. He gave me the easiest route in the book. I'm like, I'm on a wide receiver. I'm thinking he about to break out, go up. He just comes and breaks inside, and I just make a play and knock the ball down. But I literally did not know it was fourth down, dog, to send us to the Super Bowl and just to hear everybody come over. I look to the side, I see everybody running on the field, and that's when I start to celebrate, bro. But that's how locked in. Like it doesn't matter. Like if the game ain't over, if I'm on the field, it don't matter.
But the
Like
bigger thing is this,
But
Bo.
yeah,
You're a linebacker covering a wide receiver in a high moment that we
yeah,
have to have it.
yeah.
So in that moment, do you think playing basketball and playing guard came into fruition to help you make that play so easily? Because most linebackers would have freaked out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one-on-ones are harder than that position right there. Like, so like just being in that element, like I know I'm protected. We all on it. We know who they're gonna throw the ball to. I just gotta be tight enough, right? So like I'm making sure that everything from the foundation, I'm square, right? I'm not backing up, right? I'm ready to bang him as soon as he come across the middle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just making sure I'm doing my job, not trying to do too much, right? Because a lot of guys do that. Like, they try to do something different or do too much in those moments where, like I said, I didn't know what down it was. So that lets me know, like, I wanted every play. Like I wanted to win the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it always came down to, man. Just doing my job, not letting Pat down, not letting Takeo down, not letting Vic down, not letting Justin down, not letting you down. Like we held each other accountable. Like I remember runs used to get through and Justin would turn around and say, "Who the fuck was that?" You know what I'm saying? And you had to say, like,
You
they,
had
Yeah,
to
we
like
they'd
didn't
be
get
get a
like, "That
point.
was
We didn't stat.
that was me." You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like that type of accountability isn't normal. And how do I know that? I went to the Raiders, right? I was a coach with the Chargers, trying to get these guys to talk like that and play like that. Like it just showed how special we was.
Man, I already know. Like, just like there have been times over the last couple of years, they'd be like, "Man, Pat, look at you! Like, you could still come back and play." I'm like, I wish looks was all it took to do that. But deep down inside, I would say, man, I don't think you guys understand. It wouldn't be the same. I feel like I would just be playing individual ball, and
Yeah,
I'm at an age where, and maybe if I was 25 and I could just run around and play individual like that. But I'm like, when you get older,
yeah,
team ball becomes that much more important and that much more valuable to you. And I was looking across. I'm like, man, you guys. So I don't know exactly what we had with Justin and Ray and all of us guys, man, but we really had something really unique and
hmm
special from the run game, from the passing game, the way that we operated. That man, I feel like I just it didn't even feel right to even think about like playing with other guys were not the same way in which what we built
yeah,
in the way that in the way in which we did it.
Hey
yeah.
Pat, I mean, hey Bo. Another play that they want to hear you break down is that pick in the stick.
Mm,
I remember being behind you running. I actually made sure I tapped your jersey before you did the flip into the end zone. I'm like, damn,
no,
this motherfucker really been
listen.
balling all goddamn year. Can you break that play down for us and for the fans? They want to hear that.
Yeah, so all season, I was on the onside kick team, and this one opportunity comes up for me to get the onside kick to me, and the Falcons kicked it to me, and I missed the onside kick. Right, so the Falcons get the ball back. Right, we just got off the field. Right, they're kicking the onside kick. The ball goes fast underneath my legs. They get it. I think it's on like the 40 or something like that. Pat's like, "Bo, don't worry about it. We're gonna be good." I'm like, "Fuck." Right? So I'm thinking back to I gotta make a play. I gotta do my job. Right? I can't, something gotta happen. So I'm thinking, all right, boom, on the goal line, he called a blitz. I'm like, all right,
Max Zero train.
Max Zero train. If he do catch the slant, I'm gonna hit him and make sure he don't get in. So I I blitz, bounce out, get into the quarterback window. T. Brock breaks the pass up. I'm always practicing one hand to catch it, so I wasn't even tripping when the ball popped out. I knew I was going to catch that. My hands already, you know what I'm saying? So grabbed the
Put them
ball,
to work
man,
with them.
and that was probably like a 19-play drive, including the drive before the onside kick, right? So you can only imagine how exhausted we was, and then me having to run that ball back. I think it was 92 yards, something like that, 81 yards. But for me to run that, man, we didn't run that fast or that far in practice all the time.
Had to dig deep.
Man, so having both of y'all running beside me, man, look,
Oh,
it
you
was
had
it
more
was
protection than the president. Trust me.
it was
Hey, hey,
hey,
hey, that was cavalry. That was cavalry. But Bo, I do gotta ask though,
19 was
did you
streaking up behind. He was coming
He,
behind me. He
he
was
wasn't
chasing.
ready.
Yeah, he was.
and guess what? When you go back and you look at that, in my mind, you already know anytime there's an interception, always block the intended receivers.
Yeah,
Because those be the ones that somehow come back and go make something crazy happen. But
100%.
boy, I wanted to ask you though, was there any point in time when you was running that ball back and picking the stick, did you feel like that ball was gonna come out? Or did you know you always like? Did you know that you had that ball the whole
No,
time?
I had the ball. I was concentrating on not falling.
Oh, hey, one time I was like, man, did you thought you was gonna lose the ball or something?
Nah, you know how you running so fast, bro. You just trip over your feet, bro. I'm like, I'm like,
I saw you watch.
I'm like, don't mess up this historic moment, bro. Like, make it to the end
Oh,
zone, dog.
shit.
And then I remember
Oh,
you
man.
you you landed on me. He's like, that's how you make history. Yeah,
Yeah, that was huge,
yeah,
man. God dang, that was
And I
huge.
think it helped us solidify the number 2 spot
yeah. It
in
got
the
us in there.
NFC.
Mhm,
Because if
Got us
not,
in
we would
there.
have been like number 6, I believe, that year. And I got to give you a
We
big
wouldn't have
thanks,
been in it.
bro. I got to give you a big thanks for that New Orleans game when you were supposed to be on Pierre Thomas, and that
Oh yeah,
motherfucker slipped out, and
you
I was
came
able
and
to bang
cleaned
his
them.
ass to sleep. That would have
Cleaned.
never happened if you would have just did your normal coverage job. So I want to
Yeah.
thank you for that, and
Hey,
the
no.
cleanup crew for cleaning up that fumble.
Hey, no problem, bro. That's why. That's what I mean, bro. Like you wouldn't say, "Damn, Bo ain't covering his man." Nah, he covering him,
Nah, we gonna
but
fuck him
I'm
up.
right here too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely, bang. You understand? Ball out, night time. And another thing I used to remember you saying a lot is like, man, why you and Deshaun hitting with y'all helmets out here? Like you boys are using your head. I used to always watch you, bro. You would
yeah,
never put your head in there to make a tackle.
no, never,
Never.
never. Like, only time I used my head was on linemen, like to get them off me. You know what I'm saying? To shock them, but like, I'm literally trying to tackle, dog. Like, and I just tell people all the time, like, if the dude sees you, dog, you can't think you about to crush this man.
Okay? Or you or you bat
Like,
fucking crazy. Or you
you're
bat
going
fucking
to
crazy.
you're going to hurt yourself, right? So like, just tackle the guy when he sees you. When he don't see you, now
Then knock him out.
that's your opportunity for a big hit. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that, dog. Like, these dudes, they be trying to crush everything out there, Joe. I be like, man, you tripping.
So another part of your
Uh,
experience was coaching with Jim Harbaugh. You hit on it a little bit earlier. How
Yeah.
was that experience? He was over demanding, I bet. He wanted a motherfucker to sleep in there 3 days a week, don't he?
He wouldn't say it, but you would know he wants that. You know what I'm saying? And like, to be honest, he's easy but hard to work for in the sense of you have to be football has to be first, in your life. And football isn't first in my life. Maybe second, maybe third. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just as good as a coach. Even if it's not first in my life, but when it comes to like him and the way he works, your football is your life, right? There's nothing more better than football. We're going to bring church to football. We're going to bring Christmas to football. We're going to bring Halloween to football. We're bringing everything to football, right? So being in that thing at 5:30 in the morning and not getting out of there till 8:30 at night,
And you got to be right
I-
back in.
I'm talking about how do I get home after my kids and beat them out of the house?
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
that's tough.
And they got to go to sleep at 10. So if I get home at 8:30, I'm only getting an hour and a half with them.
Do you think
So
that a lot of these coaches are taking it too far when it comes to the time that they're dedicating, already being professionals and experts, that they're actually sacrificing a lot of things that actually matter?
yeah, I honestly think 12 hours is extreme, but 10 hours I think is really good. I just think they think that the opposing team or the opposing coach is getting more work done or watching it more, right? It allows them to get that edge on them, right? So the longer you sit in there, you think you're getting the edge,
But
right?
Vic was
You're
the total
Yeah.
difference, remember? Vic was the total opposite of that. Remember, Vic
yeah,
said, I don't even want you guys to take notes. I want you to listen to me and what I
listen to
tell you
him.
individually and remember, and
Yeah,
that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think that Vic Fangio's philosophy will work a lot better than Jim
Well,
Harbaugh's. What do you guys think?
Jim Harbaugh did a great job with getting the players out of there this year. Like when I say a 9 to 5 job, it was literally a 9 to 5 job for them. Unless we had like a far away game where they had to kind of like switch up the days of practice. We'll practice early, but like when we was playing, we wasn't getting out of there till 8 o'clock. Man,
Man, I
eight
feel like it was.
8, 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Depending
God
on what you
dang.
wanted to do extra. But like
Yeah.
nowadays, Jim is great with the players. They have no complaints. They making a lot of money. They get time with their family at 5 o'clock every day. Coaches, nah, you're not getting none of that. You getting 2 weeks off after the last game. Them dudes is at the combine, bro. Like I'm at my son's basketball game. They at the NFL combine. I'm like,
Boy, hey, this year is the first year that I really, tapped into the whole football operations side, and so I went down to the Senior Bowl. I was supposed to go to the combine, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Just even as soon as the season's over, with, just doing that a little bit, I said, whoa, wait a minute.
yeah,
This is making me feel like I was a player or like I'm coaching. I was like, man, I don't even want to feel like this. Like I said, I gotta make some time in here for myself. So
yeah,
I'll see you guys in a little bit, man. But no, I know it takes a lot, man. It takes a lot. Like I said, Jim Tomsula used to sleep
yeah.
in there at nighttime. I mean, when you just here, I just saw you. He's like, yeah, I didn't go home. I'm like, man, so what's your wife and kids? I'm thinking, like, they gotta
But I
understand.
but I would say the positive about it was the relationships I had with my players, like being able to get them to play the way you want them to play and seeing them go execute on the field. Them look at you for improvement, for the okay. Like that's the joy in coaching, you know what I'm saying? And having guys that want to learn. Like my guys enjoyed coming to work. You know, they felt bad about me stepping down, but they understood, you know what I'm saying? But like
Mhm.
I told him from day one, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not gonna play with you. You're mine. I'm gonna let you know exactly what they're thinking about you, what I'm thinking, so that you can approach this thing because it's your job, right? Approach it the right way.
Mhm.
And that's what they respected the most, is just me being truthful and honest to them.
Did you ever have any times where was there ever a moment? Because well, you still fairly. I mean, you're still a young man.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where you was around those guys or around the game that you like felt like, man, could I step back in here and do this, or as you or since you've been coaching, have you been okay with like being away from the game?
To the
I'm
whole
sorry, not playing, not playing.
the whole first year, I felt like I could have. The whole first year coaching, I felt like I could have played. Like
Mhm.
just seeing how they move, being around it, like,
Mhm.
and then you start to coach and you start to see, oh, this is why you retired, or this is why you kind of stepped away from, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because that wall hits you, that wall hits you, you know, the you start seeing them injuries pile up, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the money good, the life is good, but you start to see it, you just like, man, like,
You got no
yeah,
freedom.
yeah.
You
Like,
got no freedom. The wife and the kids spend all the money. You just locked
yeah,
up in this chamber all
yeah.
goddamn day. And before we get out of here, let's go into some current 49ers topics. And there's no better duo to talk about this than you two guys. Dre Greenlaw returns. And now it's back Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner again. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's gonna be. I think they may be. I don't know how. It's hard to compare to what they done the first stint together, but I do think with them having the veteranship that they have amongst each other, and then Dre coming back hungry the way that he's coming back hungry, I think they could do something really special amongst those two. Be it they have the D line in front of them to go, eat.
But one thing they've been missing, though, is that crazy motherfucker that'll knock your noodles loose. Everybody else out there, I feel like, plays a little too safe. Bo, you remember how we used to play back there? It's like,
Yeah.
man, you come across this middle, man, somebody about to get hurt, man.
Yeah. They
That's Dre
thinking about it.
Greenlaw, and he doesn't care
Yeah.
about getting fined. He doesn't care. He, like, actually doesn't have, like, a switch.
Yeah.
How do you think that's gonna bode for the 49ers defense?
I think early on it'll be a great thing, right? I think, to get everyone hyped, the morale of the team hyped. But we all know, man, it comes down to doing it, right? And Dre's had some health concerns, all right, and now we got Fred coming back, off of injury too. So, like, I'm not gonna put the pressure on him, right? But the men that I know who they are, right? I know that they're coming back with the vengeance. I know that they wanted to work out well. And I'm wishing them both the best luck, right? But just make sure you focus on that body, get that body all the way right. You might feel great that first 2-3 weeks, right? But it's about that 7th week, 8th week, 10th week, right? So just, hats off to them. Dre coming back, the morale, the energy, the physicality, like you said, man, is bar none. It's exciting to see, especially on the 49ers defense, and always enjoy seeing the defense fly around. Just reminds us how we used to do it back in the day. So I'm looking forward to seeing them back reunited.
Another guy that they signed was a defensive tackle where they traded for Osa. How do you say his last name? ODZ Zua.
I'm not, I'm
I'll
not
get a
even,
little
I'm not
better
even
with
going to
that.
attempt to mess it up.
I'll get a little better with that. But actually
Mm-hmm.
watching this, everybody expect me to say something negative, be like, oh, this was a bad trade. I think this was a phenomenal trade. And going and watching, shout out to the NFL for having NFL Pro where they have the analytics and you can like single out individual players and analyze their game. So I watched all like 424 snaps that he played last year. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you right now, when they get Bosa back and they get another viable defensive end, this motherfucker gonna be all pro. He can play
Mm-hmm.
down the line. He has multiple moves against the run. He has an extreme get off, like very, very quick get off. So if you put him on the move, he's going to create havoc in the backfield with penetration. And then all of his sacks last year was extra effort. He had 3.5 last year, 4.5 the year before. But when you put him in those situations where it's obvious pass, he's going to be a double-digit sack guy, the best interior rusher and defender since DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead. So I think that this year the 49ers made a really good pick by picking him up. And then another guy that they picked up on the defense side of the ball was cornerback Hobbs. I don't like that
Mm-hmm.
pick. When you go back and look at him, he was a red zone liability last year. The Dallas Cowboys picked on him. The receiver from Ohio State that's in Arizona, Marvin Harrison, he
Mm-hmm.
exposed him. So I think that he's a good pickup. He'll be a special teams guy. He'll be like a slot. He could play outside press man, but for the most part, I don't think that he's going to be a starter. But I like these free agent moves. What do you think about those two, Pat Navarro?
I think the D tackle,
Osa.
as linebackers, Osai, I think as long as he keeps the double teams off of the linebackers, man, we love him, as middle linebackers, man. So you mentioned him playing down the line and having those sacks, right? There's moments when you can do those things, but your job is to keep them two behind you clean. So I'll be looking forward to seeing him play, for sure.
But
Uh,
watching him though, last year, the biggest weakness for the 49ers defense were those defensive tackles and the
mhm,
ability to not sustain on the double teams. And they would get
mhm,
knocked back and then they'll let one guy loose and lose leverage.
yeah,
This guy has the attributes, the strength, and the ability to get off the ball to hold it. I just think that in the previous years, they didn't have it. And I always talked about that during the year, Bo, that
mhm,
those defensive tackles, the linebackers have to rely on them, or you don't really have an interior your defense. And Fred
yeah,
Warner and those boys can't come out and say that, but they know that's the truth.
right, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, those inside guys are huge, and I think if Osai can come in and be what he's been, be strong, be powerful, like you say, Bo, take up those double teams, and then you have big Alfred Collins and C.J. West. They get better. They could have a nice interior defensive line.
They could,
mhm.
and they made another one on the offensive side of the ball. This is the first free agent pickup we're talking about. Oh, the second. Sorry, Mike Evans was one, but Christian Kirk. I think we all played. I might have played against Christian Kirk like his first year or something. I think he'd been in the year 8 to 9 years or something, but I've watched him a lot. He's a slot receiver, 239 yards last year. How do you feel about this pickup? I know a lot of people don't like it. I think this is actually going to be one of their best free agent pickups this offseason.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it a positive just because I feel like he's experienced. He has the frame to play in the slot, but he could also be that number two receiver. And it seems like he has the kind of frame that's bigger than Debo's. So I feel like they could use him in a multitude of ways. So I like the pick, the add on.
I think it's a great pick. You know, always with slot receivers, right? It's can they get off the press, right? Can they get open? Can they make that catch on third down? Avoid that hit. Does he have any special teams value? You know, not being a one or a two on the outside, right? So I'll just be looking for those are the things that Debo did, right? You're talking about getting the 49ers back to those winning seasons, winning moments. You're gonna need your playmakers on the field. So if he's one of those guys, I think it'd be a great pick.
I think he's going to be the most productive free agent pick this year for the 49ers, and this is why. His ability to catch the ball over the middle fearlessly, his ability to separate in the slot. Last year in Houston, he was primarily used in the slot, and he could still take the top off the defense. And you know, in Kyle Shanahan's offense, that slot receiver has to have the ability to make short area catches, have that short area quickness, and continue to put pressure on defenses. And I think that he's going to have a career year because he has all of those attributes, and he's that outlet guy like Christian McCaffrey. Houston put him in the backfield last year. They put him in the slot. They had a lot of those trick plays that Kyle liked to use, like that sting post when they roll
Mhm.
the quarterback out and he's about to run
Yeah.
a 7. That
Oh
safety
no,
overcommit and he cross your face and bust your ass. You're gonna see a lot of Christian Kirk
no,
running
he
that
was
this year. I'm telling
he
you.
was he was dangerous for sure. He
Yeah,
was
so
dangerous.
people talking about, oh, well, he had a down year last year. Yeah, because you were in the most dysfunctional offense in fucking the AFC last year in Houston. And did you
Yeah.
see the way that what's the quarterback over their name?
CJ, not CJ.
CJ Stroud,
Stroud.
see the way that he
Yeah, CJ
played.
Stroud. Yeah.
There's no way you're getting the football. There were many overthrows on deep balls and even short catches. So Christian Kirk could possibly have a career year. And one more thing before we get out of here. How do you feel about Justin Fields going to the Kansas City Chiefs, Bo?
Oh man, I mean it's another shot, right? I think him being able to be next to a guy that he kind of has similar attributes to, right? I think his size, the way he likes to scramble with the ball. I think him and Patrick can help each other. I think Patrick can help Justin out a lot. I really do. I think him getting out of Chicago, a new scenery. Um, Actually, he was in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, getting out of New York, just getting a new scenery, but being around a vet, right, that knows how to win, and just showing him what it takes day in and day out. I think it'll be a good fit for Justin.
Yeah, I'm a second what both said. I think Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate quarterback, and I think they could really help each other out because this Justin Field, he's a very mobile quarterback, and I think he could add. I don't know if you ever take Mahomes off the field, but all in all, I think he can learn a lot from being
Mhm.
around Patrick Mahomes.
Justin Fields has all the attributes you need to be a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. He's been put
Yeah,
in
But
some
what?
really tough situations.
yeah,
Chicago, the New York Jets.
yeah.
But when you think about these past years, think about Sam Darnold going over with Kyle Shanahan, a quarterback whisperer. When you think about Mac Jones going over with Kyle Shanahan, being a quarterback whisperer. When you think
Hmm.
about this move from Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, it shows me that Andy Reid is about to prove that he's the ultimate quarterback whisperer. And when you think about Justin Fields, he's been through the fire. He's heard it all. But somehow, some way, he still finds a way to be productive. He just can't produce wins. So I think, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. When they picked up Kenneth Walker and you trade for Justin Fields, because Mahomes isn't going to touch the field this year. He just tore his ACL in December. They have to protect their asset. this 1 year for Justin Fields and Andy Reid, Justin Fields will end up in the MVP conversation at the end of the year. And the Kansas City Chiefs, without Patrick Mahomes, will be in Super Bowl contention this year. You can bet it. When you put these two guys together in the attributes and the intelligence and the integral type of offense that Kansas City runs, it's going to be very difficult to stop them. So I think this is the best move that Kansas City could have made.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce's coming back too, right? It's confirmed. Yeah, I know he's going to love that.
Now, instead of Mahomes just wiggling around during passing downs and making things happen with his legs, they can actually draw up things to attack the defense with Justin Fields, and he can actually throw the football. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out in Kansas City. But that'll do it for episode 29 of the Grit Code podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple, X, YouTube, and Instagram. And from myself, from NaVorro Silverback Bowman, and from NFL Hall of Famer Patrick Willis, remember, it's not just a code, it's a way of life.